are here with Rabbi Micha Shotkin, custom Erev builder across the United States and beyond. We are here as we begin Maseches Erevin. We would like to show our audience how a community Erev is built and what it looks like. We're going to come across many concepts that are foreign to many people. We would like to help our audience understand these concepts. What we're going to focus on right now is Gud Asik. Gud Asik, Rabbi Shotkin will explain to us exactly what it means and how it applies to an Erev. Rabbi Shotkin, good morning.
Good morning. So the first thing we're going to need to know is when we're trying to create an Erev and we're trying to surround the city, we're using these doorposts, these door frames. So we have Atzuras HaPesach, we have the two side posts, and we have the lintel that goes over the top. The difficulty is that oftentimes we have the lintel, we have a wire, as these high tension power lines are behind us, but we want to have the side post. Now these side posts are not going to be able to go up and touch the wire, but we use the concept called Gud Asik, that once something goes up 10 tfachim, the Gemara says that it's considered as if it imaginarily goes up and it touches the wire. So these, once they're 10 tfachim tall, which is around 40 inches, we consider it as if it extends. The difficulty with Gud Asik is that it only goes up straight as gravity would be. For example, if I would have a telephone pole that would be at an angle, and I had a wire running like this, and I put my 10 tefach lechi here, Gud Asik does not go up in the direction that the lechi is. It goes straight up, plumb, which would very possibly miss the wire. So we want to be able to tell, how do we know that our lechi, that's 10 tefachim tall, is plumb underneath a wire that's either like these high tension power lines, hundreds of feet up, or on a telephone pole that's only 30 feet up. So we have a number of devices that we're going to use to be able to determine what is directly above this lechi.
Now that we've identified that we want to use this high tension powered wire for the kanal gabeim, or the lintel, how do we figure out that it is on top of the post that we discussed?
So over here we have the Erev uses the fence coming along the side of the roadway, and if you notice, there's a piece of plexiglass which is zip tied onto the fence. That's the lechi that we're using. But how did I figure out where to put that, and how do I know that it's in the proper place? So the first device we use, just a simple plumb line. Any string with any heavy object on it, when it's hung down, this will be plumb. It'll hang straight as gravity would pull it. If you line it up so that the wire and the string are lined up together, if you follow the string down, it should be hitting that area of the lechi. The difficulty with this technique is that it's not so precise because your hand is constantly moving. And when you're going up hundreds of feet and your lechi is only a few feet wide, you want to have more precision than this. But this is a good initial way of telling where you want to place your lechi. So now that we've done our initial measurement with this plumb line, and we know roughly where on the fence we want our lechi to be, we're going to use some other devices that are more precise, and we'll go over there and use them to figure exactly where on the fence that lechi should be placed. And hopefully we'll see that this lechi was placed properly.
Now that Rabbi Shotkin has identified with the plumb line which area the lechi should be in underneath the wires, we're going to use some more instruments that are more precise to find that location. Rabbi Shotkin, can you show us what you have today?
So the first device is, I recently picked this up in Israel. It's called a bakbuk. It's a piece of PVC with a pin hanging from a piece of thread inside. And when it hangs down, it's basically like a plumb line. When we look in the mirror, if we see the length of the needle, then we know we're not looking straight up. And if all we see is a dot, we know that we're looking directly up at the needle. So if we place this here on the fence and steady the needle, if you look in at the mirror, you'll see that as you move your head to the point where all you can see is a dot, directly above that will be the wire that this lechi is supposed to be underneath. That indicates that this is properly placed. We also have an extra 2 feet on each side. That's to take care of the fact that the wire will often sway in the wind. It's not just a margin of error. On these high tension power lines, we need a much greater margin of error due to the fact that the wires themselves will sway back and forth in the wind. This is a more sophisticated and advanced device. This is an optical plummet. It sits on a base that has a level. And this level, a bubble level, when this is level and you look into the optics of it, you can see straight up, and with crosshairs you know to within millimeters exactly what you are above. Generally this will sit on a tripod, but for this, or sometimes will sit on the lechi itself. This is a more expensive device, which I got from Dov Kuden from the Toronto Erev, and shout out to Dov Kuden. And this is very good for working during the day. The next device that we have, which really works only at night, at least for me, is the laser. The laser is a self-leveling device, so you don't need to set the level. So in that way, it's easier to use. But it shoots a dot down and a laser up. That dot that's above is directly above because it self-levels up to 15 degrees. This device works at night, but it's also far more accurate than the bakbuk. This one is very accurate, but the difficulty is it can lose its calibration if it's dropped. So generally, I like to use 1 or 2, if not 3 of these devices to make sure that we know that the thing is under the wire, because it's tremendously disheartening to find out after many years that the lechi was not placed properly and that the Erev was never kosher.